right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, staffing crisis. Local nurses say it's putting patients at risk. They're picketing plea to SLU Hospital.
Change is coming. A break from the humidity and storm chances as we head toward the weekend. The challenges some of us will face before the changes get here.
But first tonight, heartbroken parents visit the gas station where their son was murdered on the job.
I'm so angry. Why? His life is very important.
The latest on the search for suspects.
And tonight, police are still looking for the person who shot and killed a clerk at a Dogtown gas station. Good evening. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. This as police now say a second man is no longer a person of interest in this case. Our Robert Townsend has reaction from the victim's family and customers.
Family members say 22-year-old Ayez Ahmed was excited about his future. He was taking online computer science classes, a part-time student at Forest Park Community College, and worked as a clerk at this gas station in Dogtown for several years. Ahmed wanted to become a business owner.
He's starting a part-time job. His big dream.
His dreams now cut short. Police say Ahmed was working overnight at this gas station when someone shot him in his head and killed him. Biologically, Ahmed was Rahana Begum's nephew, but she officially adopted him when Ayez moved to the United States from Bangladesh.
So kind, my son. He's so organized and helping people.
Begum says Ayez saw 3 people ride up to the gas station, try to break into his car, and when he ran outside to confront them, Ahmed was killed. Initially, police said 19-year-old Jatavian Scott was a person of interest in the homicide, but now they say that's no longer the case. Officers were escorting Scott to a patrol car when he ran off. They say he's still wanted on vehicle tampering and escape charges.
I do not understand why, if somebody handcuffed, what type of police not find him? He should not go far away.
The investigators were planning on interviewing him in an effort to determine exactly what his involvement in the incident may be.
Today, Ahmed's parents picked up his car from the gas station. Flowers were left on the front windshield as the clerk's hurting family.
I could not drive his car.
And longtime customers pray for an arrest.
I'm sure eventually in time, someone will give him up.
Of course. I want to caught him as soon as possible.
Again, right now, police have not arrested anyone in connection with Ahmed's murder. Anyone with any information should call Crime Stoppers. Live downtown, Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
A second Northwoods police officer has been arrested in connection to a police brutality investigation on the 4th of July. Michael L. Hill of East St. Louis has now been charged with second-degree kidnapping. This comes after days after fellow officer Samuel Davis was charged with first-degree assault, armed criminal action, and kidnapping. Police say Hill and Davis arrested a man, took him to a remote area in Kinloch where he was pepper sprayed and beaten. According to court documents, both Hill and Davis had turned their body cams off, and they didn't tell dispatch that they arrested the man, and they didn't file a report.
Busch Stadium, the Cardinals getting their 5th win in a row, and it was a steamy day at the ballpark. We could see storms overnight.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is watching the radar for signs of any development, and he joins us now with the Weather First forecast.
And the good news is so far, not much tonight. In fact, Mike and Ann, our chances for rain overnight, not as great as they were last night and not as organized either, which means most of us can sleep tight tonight and not have to worry about the weather. We'll take a look at what we're dealing with here. Muggy conditions, still in the 80s in St. Louis. We've had a few little scattered showers coming at us from the west, but not much. And you look at the rainfall in the last 24 hours. Last night was really active just south and southwest of St. Louis. 2 to 3 inches of rain fell, and a lot of that came in a short time period this morning, but nothing like what they saw in Kentucky from Paducah south towards Mayfield and Murray. 6 to 12 inches of rain just last night. They have more on the way. How about this from Angie? Look at this in DuQuoin, Illinois, nearly 6 inches of rain in the rain gauge there. So As we go through the night, there is a storm chance, mainly towards sunrise and especially south of the metro St. Louis area. Limited severe and flood threat. The storms keep moving. Looks like they might produce maybe a little gusty wind or some isolated hail, but not the risk that was there last night. That's good news. One more chance at storms before we dry out some for the weekend. More on that in a few minutes, Mike.
And the heavy rains resulted in flash flooding in parts of Kentucky. Roads turned into rushing rivers and people were forced from their homes. Now the governor there has declared a state of emergency. And just 1 year ago, the St. Louis area was also underwater from the Metro East to St. Charles County after record rainfall. Recovery is still ongoing. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski was in Brentwood today, and Laura reports there has been significant progress on flood mitigation. Laura?
There has, Mike. The city of Brentwood is nearly finished with one of their largest flood mitigation projects, but unfortunately, the flood was just too intense for one business to stick around.
Brentwood Park and the area around it didn't always look like this. Just 1 year ago, it looked like this.
We didn't lose any homes with all that flooding, and so we were very fortunate. It was just businesses that took on the damage.
To make sure that didn't happen again, the city of Brentwood specifically designed the park and improvements to Manchester Road.
It was designed to hold back flood waters with a 100-year rain event, and it does that. And we got the properties out of there, the properties that would repeatedly flood, those are gone. So now it's just a green space.
But they had to do more.
The city spent about $120,000 to clear out Black Creek to hopefully improve the flow of that creek waters, and Deer Creek as well.
The Little Bit Foundation was one of those businesses that lost almost everything. They served children all over the St. Louis area with school supplies, clothes, and even more beyond material things.
Then when you're talking about flood waters, there's just things you cannot give to children. So with all of that, we had to completely rebuild in 1 year's time.
Since the flood, CEO Miranda Walker-Jones says they've been able to find a temporary location and to restock a lot of their donations, from the things that keep kids warm to the things that warm their hearts.
So we are going through tons and tons of books, but they're great.
It's one of Walker-Jones' favorite parts.
Some of our book donations.
She says, unfortunately, they won't be able to go back to their office in Brentwood.
We know we have a responsibility because these are donated items and things that we're getting out to kids to keep them safe and have them available for kids. So school is starting very quickly here.
But that won't keep them from their mission.
Nothing's going to stop us from making sure that we are getting these things to our students in our service areas.
The Little Bit Foundation is still looking for a more permanent, larger space that has enough warehouse room and good office space. They're also looking for volunteers as we head into the new school year. I'll have more information about that on KSDK.com.
Police believe the woman behind the wheel of a car that crashed into a Lime home may have suffered a medical emergency. The woman has been identified as Cheryl Doyen. Police say she was driving near the intersection of Kingston and Telegraph when she hit an embankment, went airborne, and came crashing down into a home. She died at the scene. No one in the home was hurt.
New tonight, nurses at St. Louis University Hospital fear low staffing levels could put your health care in jeopardy.
It's why they took to the street today in protest, hoping for a resolution from SSM Health. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon is just back from SLU Hospital with more on their message. Brent.
And right now, nurses at SLU say they're working without a contract. They're in negotiations right now to bring about changes that they say will help keep you safe.
When you go to the hospital, you expect to come out better than you came in. It's why many who work in the healthcare field do it.
I go to work every day because I have a calling. I cannot tell you the number of times I have felt like I was the right nurse at the right place.
But today, Hadass Becker is joining the picket line.
When I say nurses, you say fight back, nurses! Fight back.
This was the scene outside St. Louis University Hospital Wednesday. Nurses rallying for better pay and adequate staffing.
I work in the ED. I see critical patients every day. I've seen situations where nurses have been assigned to 5 patients, and any one of those patients could become critical in any moment and require CPR or anything like that, and I've only got one pair of hands,
The National Nurses Organizing Committee and National Nurses United say for more than a year, there's been a 30% vacancy rate for registered nurses here. Becker says traveling nurses are coming in to help, making up to 3 times more than local staff.
They don't know our systems, they don't know our doctors, they don't know where things are, and we spend a lot of our time having to help them out, and we want core staff that knows what we're doing.
The hospital says SSM Health is committed to providing safe, compassionate, high-quality care for patients and the community. We are grateful for the unwavering dedication of our entire SLU team. Patient safety is our top priority, and we remain undeterred in our mission to always provide exceptional healthcare services to our patients.
To just give us adequate staffing, let us do our jobs, give us the staffing that we need to ensure that our patients are well taken care of and safe.
Now the hospital tells me those negotiations have been going on since May. Mike.
Brent, thanks. Senator Josh Hawley is demanding a Senate hearing on radioactive contamination in the St. Louis area.
This is one of the biggest disasters caused by the federal government in American history. And the number of people affected is just staggering. And for too long, they've been ignored. They've been lied to.
Senator Hawley is pushing for the hearing after recent reports revealed the federal government knew about the contamination for decades before telling the public.
It is hot, and we are all looking for some relief.
By doing that, you can raise your temperature on your thermostat by 3 degrees.
We've got simple ways you can beat the heat while making ends meet. It's all the buzz online, using gasoline to get rid of wasps. Our verified team finds out if it's the best way to knock out the nest.
Nothing explosive on the radar right now. That's a good thing. The trends on overnight storms and looking ahead toward the weekend in 8 minutes.
The Circuit Attorney's Office is making major progress. Gabe Gore was appointed just 6 weeks ago, and in that time he has hired 14 experienced prosecutors. The officer has also taken the backlog of cases from 4,500 to around 2,000 cases. Gore hopes to get through those remaining cases by the end of the year, and he's also working to rebuild relationships with the mayor's office and the police department.
This is exactly the type of collaboration that I knew would be necessary for us to begin rebuilding the Circuit Attorney's Office, and I am happy to report that we have received it.
Gore says there is still work to be done, and right now he still has plans to make at least 5 more attorney hires in the coming weeks. Summer is here. We are all dealing with that extreme heat.
Besides being miserable outside, our energy costs go up inside, and Michelle Lee shares some summer energy savings tips in tonight's Making Ends Meet report.
With summertime and the extreme heat in full swing, a dip in the pool costs a few bucks, and it's a good way to stay cool. But if you're stuck inside, staying comfortable and safe when the temperatures rise is going to cost you. Ameren shares 5 free and easy energy-saving tips to help cut energy costs. Shelley Harmon is Ameren's manager of energy efficiency.
First, running a fan simultaneously with your air conditioning, that'll create a breeze and a cooling effect, like a wind chill effect. So that really keeps the house cool.
Using a fan and AC together may seem unnecessary, but it can help reduce the energy used by your air conditioner.
And by doing that, you can raise your temperature on your thermostat by 3 degrees.
Next up, number 2, keep your curtains and blinds closed. They really do keep the heat out.
If you have those medium colored drapes with that white plastic lining, you can keep that heat gain out by 33%.
Number 3, keep your air vents clean and change those filters.
Keep those clean and make sure that your drapes aren't blocking those vents.
Number 4, summer is grilling season, so make the most of it.
Another tip is to cook outdoors. So those small appliances work better, so you're not using the bigger appliances to create that heat.
And finally, number 5, program your thermostat.
We have rebates on smart thermostats for as little as $0. So you can go right to our store and instant savings, get your thermostat, it'll be shipped right to your home. And you can save up to $180 a year just by using this smart thermostat.
Smart thermostats automatically adjust temperatures to make it cooler when you're home and warmer when you're taking the kids to beat the heat at the pool.
And if you're struggling to pay your energy bill this summer, there is help. Customers can contact Ameren, Missouri, or a local community action group like CoolDownSt.Louis.org. Back to you.
Well, seniors won't see a break in their property taxes in St. Louis County. The county council voted against the measure, voting along party lines to reject a freeze on property taxes for anyone eligible for Social Security 62 and over. But still, local mayors lobbied against the proposal, arguing it would deprive police, fire, or school districts from the funds they need to deliver critical government services. Advocates hope to bring the proposal back to the state legislature, either through a new law or a ballot question.
It's not uncommon to deal with those wasp nests this time of year. No one wants to deal with it. Brandon Lewis with our Verify team looks into the safety of a viral method to get rid of the nests.
A viral TikTok with more than 33 million views shows a person using a cup of gasoline to eliminate a wasp's nest. But is this really a safe way to kill these pesky pests? Let's verify. Our sources are the Texas A&M School of Integrated Pest Management and Jonathan Larson, an entomologist with the University of Kentucky. Gasoline is dangerous because it's highly flammable and emits harmful fumes. It's one reason why gas stations are outdoors. Larson tells Verify what you're seeing in the video are gas fumes suffocating and paralyzing the wasps, but adds there's a lot that could go wrong.
They're seconds away from everything going wrong, I would say, and ending up doused in gasoline and covered in wasp stings.
Plus, even if you are successful, you then need to properly dispose of the gas at a hazardous waste facility. Texas A&M says if the gas ends up on the ground, it could create a fire hazard and contaminate the soil. So, no, holding a cup of gasoline up to a wasp's nest is not a safe way to kill wasps. Instead, use an aerosol wasp spray, which instantly freezes and kills wasps from a safe distance. Whether you're Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
What can we verify for you? Please send an email. There's the email address, verify@ksdk.com.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us now at that Weather First forecast. So will we see some storms overnight, Scott?
You know, some of us will probably have some right around daybreak tomorrow, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Best chances will again be south of St. Louis, but don't think we're going to see that morning sky lit up quite the way it was with lightning this morning early on as we look down in Arnold. It was a stormy start down that way early this morning. It was noisy across parts of the southern metro area and then going farther south. We're still close to 80 degrees tonight. It's a warm night. It is a muggy night. Our dew point temperatures, this is more of a measure of the humidity. So if our temperature in Chesterfield, say, dropped to 76, the air temperature, we would be sitting at 100% relative humidity with a dew point of 76 degrees. So we're not quite that bad off, but 70s, mid-70s dew points, it's pretty thick. 82 right now, but it still feels like 88 in St. Louis. Our high today, because we had limited sunshine, 87. No measurable rain officially at St. Louis Lambert International, but a trace there. Farther south, we did see 2 to 3 inches of rain overnight in many locations. 74 the overnight low in town if we get that low. Most spots low to mid 70s tonight. Hard to cool off much when you have this thick humidity in and across the region. We also have a boundary kind of stuck overhead. We've had a couple little spritzes trying to make a run at us this evening. Nothing substantial, nothing able to hold together. The setup's not the same as last night, even though we still have this boundary across the region and it hasn't moved much. We still have moisture coming in from the west. There's still a lot of humidity for a disturbance to work with as it moves over us. But again, the low-level jet's not as strong. There's just not as many ingredients coming together. So we're not having the big concerns tonight like we had this time last night. However, looking south of St. Louis, as we head towards this 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, that's when we'll see those scattered thunderstorms develop, and they'll slide quickly off to the southeast, right down the Mississippi River, and head down towards Paducah. We could still see some additional showers and thunderstorms late morning south of St. Louis, and then scattered action with the front approaching during the afternoon and early evening. Once that front gets through here, we will see the humidity levels drop way off for Friday. You kind of get the gist of where the heaviest rain's probably going to be, down to the southeast of St. Louis. If we see any in the metro area tomorrow, very much on the scattered side. Risk of flooding overnight, it's greatest once again along the Ohio River where it meets the Mississippi. By Saturday, it's mostly sunny, in the 80s for highs and dry. Slim chance for a spot storm as we head into Sunday. Be a little bit warmer. We're close to 90 degrees on Sunday. And then it looks like the heat really builds back in, heading towards the middle and end of next week. Of course, we said that this week in anticipation of that ridge coming in, and the storms kept us from getting there. Storm chances look a lot lower next week, which favors hotter temperatures.
We haven't seen that much sun in a row.
I know.
In quite a long time.
And the lack of thunder. You can
Yes.
have rain or you don't have rain. We're really in the situation this summer.
All right, Scott, thank you. Let's get to Corey. What's coming up?
Well, and the Cardinals are red hot, and City SC All-Stars take on Arsenal. Also, I'm going to make you think at least a little bit tonight in sports. That's coming up next.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
Well, if you haven't started playing Baseball Reference's daily Immaculate Grid game, you need to. Essentially, you fill out a square with baseball players with the listed criteria, usually playing for 2 specific MLB teams. I made a custom Cardinals-themed one for you to think about during this sportscast. Answers are going to come at the end. And speaking of answers, the current Cardinals, well, they may have found some. Today, they notched their longest winning streak of the season. Familiar face and Cy Young winner Sandy Alcantara on the mound for the Marlins today. Nolan Gorman, he had a big one. 4 RBIs, including this big-time blast off Sandy in the first inning. That's a 3-run shot. The Cards are 14-3 when Gorman homers this season. That's pretty good. Nolan Arenado put on a defensive show today. Makes this throw from the shortstop position. Then he's going to pull off a wild jump throw that takes him into foul territory. Just Nolan being Nolan. Cardinals win 6-4. It's their 5th straight and their 8th out of the last 10. A big reason, the pitching keeping the offense within striking distance.
They've been consistent, and our style of play is based off of them being able to do what they've been doing. Our offense will score. So if we can stay in games the way we have, we'll keep winning.
So how about the standings? Well, striking distance may be getting at least a little bit closer in the NL Central. Here's a look. Cardinals president John Mozeliak did make it clear earlier this week, though, the team plans to be proactive at the deadline with a particular goal in mind.
Well, I definitely think we're going to treat the trading deadline as pitching, right? Now, that's not to say we're going to ignore a position player that, may be like just uber great, and so we have to be, cognizant of that. But I think the goal would be to address as much pitching as possible. Where we are and where we are in the standings, it's going to make it very difficult to change that. It's not to say that if we, won 8 straight, you might take a pause in how you think about something. But I would say from our standpoint on how we're thinking about using our energy and time right now, it won't change.
I'm continuing my Scott Rowland career highlight reel this week, leading up to his day in Cooperstown. I'm cheating a little bit, though. No one particular moment today, just a taste of his all-around great glove at third, 8 Gold Gloves, 140 fielding runs above average. That's really good. The offensive stats are impressive as well, but these plays right here, well, that's why Rowland's getting a plaque in Cooperstown.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
It's All-Star Night for Major League Soccer in Washington, D.C. Tim Parker and Roman Berkey and the other All-Stars faced off against Stan Kroenke's Arsenal team. City SC just beat Stan's Colorado Rapids, but had less luck tonight. There's Parker. He's always good for an interview. And as for Berkey, well, as arguably the most dominant keeper in the league, he started tonight for the MLS All-Stars. But not even Berkey had a chance at some of these Arsenal shots. This chip shot from Gabriel Jesus, well, that's unstoppable off the post for a goal. They'd get 2 with Berkey in net, 5 overall. They shut out the MLS All-Stars 5-0. Now, I promised answers to the Cardinals grid, so here they are. Willie McGee, well, he's a World Series champion at 82, and he also hit for the cycle. There were a few possibilities on that one. Nolan Arenado, he's the only current Cardinal to hit for the cycle, so he goes there. Adam Wainwright, you might remember, he hit a homer in his first ever at-bat. He's also a World Series champion. And Paul DeYoung, he's the current Cardinal who also homered in his first at-bat. Wilson Contreras did it too, but he did it for the Cubs, so he doesn't really count. I'm telling you guys, this game is addicting every day. They do it better than me. I'm just trying to remember all my old baseball cards.
I'm still trying to figure out the game, but you're going to tell me more about it.
I'll fill you in.
Okay. Thanks, Corey.
The beauty of streaming is being able to skip the ads, but that will no longer be an option for some Netflix subscribers. If you've been thinking about getting Netflix, you're not going to be able to avoid the ads. The streaming service is scrapping its least expensive ad-free plan for new members. The basic plan is $10 a month. That is no longer available. However, existing members can keep their plans. This move will push customers to the ad-supported package, which is $7, and on average has 4 minutes of unskippable ads per hour.
Well, what would you do with $1 billion?
So much.
That's how much is in tonight's Powerball jackpot. It's the third highest in the game's history. The winning numbers were picked less than 30 minutes ago. You see them on your screen. They are 7, 10, 11, 13. Look at all those low numbers. Then 24, and the Powerball is 24.
Also, a 7, 11, and 13 are lucky numbers, usually.
Mega Millions is giving people 720 million reasons to play. There was no ticket matching all 6 numbers for last night's drawing, to Ann's disappointment. So you've got another chance. The next drawing is Friday. It's only the 5th time in Mega Millions history the jackpot has surpassed the 700 million mark.
Good luck.
There you have it. 5 on your side of 10. The Tonight Show's next.